What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, among all of the reveals we got this week from the Russos about what's going on with Avengers Endgame, some of which we've already covered at the channel, one of the more interesting quotes indicated that Robert Downey Jr. was writing a backstory and even designing costume elements for his Doctor Doom character, which had a lot of people in the comments wherever I saw this posted remarking, well, shouldn't he just stick to the backstory that's already there? And I want to clarify, because it's pretty clear what he was implying by he's writing a backstory and how it relates to what actors do when they're building a very deep character. We're going to break down this latest news. It's not what you think. No, he is not changing Doctor Doom's backstory. We're going to break it all down. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below that will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner to coincide with the finale of the upcoming Daredevil Born Again. Just be a sub, leave a comment if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so the genesis of this was a Hollywood Reporter article, and this was the exact quote from Joe Russo. "It's a very intense process developing the character. He's so immersed in it, he's so dialed in. Robert Downey Jr.'s writing backstory, costume ideas. I think he just loves really rich, three-dimensional characters, and I think he sees a real opportunity here with that character." Now, the headline itself inferred that Robert Downey Jr. was doing a ton of research to build this character, but people were responding to it in a way that made it sound like he was somehow coming up with a new backstory for Doctor Doom, when, very obviously, there's an extensive backstory for Doctor Doom, especially when it comes to Jonathan Hickman's lead-up to Secret Wars. The backstory is already in the publishing. Just read it. You don't have to write one. And as far as the costume goes, well, a lot of us know exactly what that costume should look like. Green or white cape, the armor, you guys get it. But what Joe Russo was talking about here goes a little bit deeper than that. Now, first and foremost, Marvel Studios has never copied the comics beat for beat. They've always heavily relied on them for inspiration, building the characters and stories, and of course the visuals 100%. But the MCU stories are their own interpretation of these characters, where they bend a lot of events, omit characters. That's just been the nature of MCU storytelling, and come up with their own unique stories. Same players, same loose events, maybe some things you remember, but some things that have changed. So the fact that he might be writing a backstory for this specific character doesn't mean he's just going to ignore all of the backstory that's already been created for Doctor Doom. He's doing research, as the title implied, probably reading all of that and taking it all in. But what Joe Russo was referring to in acting is creating a backstory for your specific characters, probably crafted from the same cloth that a lot of the story that was told in the comics was, so that in the future, when you're acting in a scene, if your backstory is locked literally in place, then it can inform your decisions and make a character genuine in moments where you might not be exactly sure what his reaction should be or how he should feel about something. Those events obviously have huge impacts on people in real life, and the same for actor. Once you get that down, it sort of makes the character a lot more real because that backstory never changes. So I doubt that Robert Downey Jr. is hard at work destroying the Doctor Doom we've all come to know and love from publishing, more so probably just adapting what he specifically thinks works for his interpretation of the character, the same way that the MCU generally does. Now, when it comes to Robert Downey Jr. giving costume ideas, I actually am worried about that, and let me explain. I always thought the Iron Man suits looked a lot better when they were using a mix of practical effects, which were mostly made out of fiberglass from special effects guys, and then doing CGI where need be. At some point, Robert Downey Jr. decided he didn't want to wear any of that fiberglass anymore, and I actually have one made by a Hollywood legend that is a wearable Mark III. I've worn it on stream and is about as close as you can get to what Robert Downey Jr. was wearing during the films, not any of this 3D printed stuff. And the truth is that it's like wearing a coffin. There's a lot of hard spots, no matter how much rubber undersuiting they use. It is really hard to wear one of those a lot. That's why Robert Downey Jr. didn't want to do it anymore, and that's why by the time we hit Infinity War, and since they were re-CGIing all the characters anyway, a decision that was made primarily during Civil War, he said, screw it, I want nanotech. And I've just never felt like the nanotech suits have looked as good as when they were actually mixing in the practical suits. So when I hear Robert Downey Jr. giving advice about the costume for Doctor Doom, I am worried that he is not going to want to wear armor and a mask, the same thing he had to do with Iron Man, but instead maybe have a bunch of convenient suggestions that make it so that he doesn't have to wear all that stuff. And unfortunately, since I think it's already a foregone conclusion that they're not going to be scarring up his face, he better be wearing that mask given the concept art we saw this past weekend, and realize that it's par for the character. You need the metal dome, you need the hood, you need the whole thing. That's that's Doctor Doom. The truth is that when they do get to action sequences though, they do CGI the whole thing, which does provide them with these really high render 3D models for all of the armor in the first place, which is where Robert Downey Jr. found the inspiration to just say, screw it, if you're doing that already, I'm doing it all the time. I just don't think it looks as good. You guys can give me your feedback on that down in the comments. But as far as Doctor Doom's backstory, guys, it was never going to be a one-to-one with any of the Marvel comics anyway. Marvel always does their own thing, so this is not some sort of tragedy. Robert Downey Jr. is not out here murdering Doctor Doom's backstory. It's literally just them coming up with what his interpretation of the character will be and coming up with specific details for his backstory, again, probably based on Doctor Doom's history in the comics, so that he knows his character that well. And that's what Joe Russo said about 3D characters, deep characters, rich characters in dimension, and something like he could have done easily for his role in Oppenheimer because there are historical facts for him to research. Here, it's not actual history, it's fiction. He's still doing the same process. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. How do you feel about RDJ as Doom? It's funny, when I meet people who are fans of the channel or just comic fans in general, and I ask them that question, the response is always the same, and it's never overwhelmingly positive. I'm curious if the Russos and Downey and everyone at Marvel knows they might have made the job even harder for themselves by going this route, especially when there were so many good actors that they could have chosen other than the guy who's the most iconic already for another character. But hey, you know what? That discussion is way moot at this point. Let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right. Also, quick side note, I'm without an editor for a couple of days. They're on vacation, and I could have swore that at one point I knew how to do this. If there are some very glaring editing errors either in the video or the audio, that's on me. That's not on my editor. That's on me, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to relearn this. It's totally, I don't even know. I don't even know what this button does, but we're going to press it anyway. In the meantime, we are still giving away PlayStations at the channel. All you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Please, guys, try to remember that anybody can grab a content creator's photo, claim to be that content creator. It's all just a ruse to get your information on a third-party app like Telegram or WhatsApp, and then charge you for shipping for a prize that doesn't exist. Two things. Number one, never communicate with somebody on a third-party app. I will only communicate with you through verified email or through my verified accounts. So remember that, number one. Number two, I'm not sliding in the comments to hit you guys up. Also remember, no content creator, myself included, will charge you for shipping if you should win something. That's not part of the deal. So if you get a comment like that on my channel, anywhere on YouTube, really any platform at all, just report it directly to the respective platform. They are very quick about deleting those accounts, and then not only does that comment go away for you and everyone on that page, but everywhere on YouTube where they've commented, it goes away too. You're really doing everyone in the community a service. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places: Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.